Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem. And here we are after Yom Tov. We're doing tonight class number 96. And as always, the recordings are available. Go to menachembernfeld.com and you can find all past classes we have, and join us on this journey, finding some inner peace if possible, slowly but surely. Tonight will be a little bit different, but we'll do it together. So let's get started. Like every week, let's get grounded. Let's try to get grounded. I know for some people it's hard. For everything that's going on, it's hard to get grounded. And some people, you mentioned to me, they feel guilty. And again, all feelings are valid, which we'll discuss tonight. Feel guilty of feeling calm, of grounded. So let's see what comes up before we start. Let's try as much as possible, see where we are, how we got here. Take a deep breath and become aware of where you are, your surroundings, if it's quiet, or you're listening to the recording, driving your car, whatever it is. If you're sitting, put both feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in. And then we turn inwards to see, what does my body feel? Tense, overwhelmed, or maybe relaxed, calm. Whatever it is, just become aware. Your head, your jaws, your shoulders, your hands, your stomach, your feet. Just become aware of how you feel. How you feel, whatever it is, wherever you are. And whatever comes up is fine. It's just the awareness that we're looking for. So 2 weeks ago, we met before Yom Tov, and pretty much the discussion was to be able to find some calm, even though it could be hectic. When Yom Tov happens, for everybody it's different. To find a space where you can tap into. Not that we're changing the external experience, whatever it is, but to find what works for you, what's something small that you can do, so that while you're going through whatever it is, you can continue, whether it's self-care, just becoming aware of what's something that you need, maybe something to read. A lot of people share, just to be able to be there, even though it's not exactly the way you want. And I hope it worked, and here we are. And I know many people want to go back to routine. It's after Yom Tov, pack everything away. But it's not so easy, what we're going through. It doesn't always work. And as much as possible, we try, but everybody has a different reaction. And whatever reaction you have is valid. So let's discuss it for a minute, and let's do this together. Because if you came here to get the answers, I know many have questions. I don't have the answers. And I don't think anybody has any answers. It's a hard time, vulnerable. Those feelings come up. And it could be hard. So usually what we do is to be able to stop, take a deep breath, you become aware of where you are, of how you're feeling. But like we mentioned many times, stopping is not always possible and not always a good idea. If you're going through a crisis, if you're going through something, a traumatic event, whatever it is, it's not advisable to stop and sit in those feelings to see what comes up. You might need to do with somebody else or keep being busy because it's a lot of emotions, and it's hard, and it makes sense. And in a way, I think that's where many of us are with what's going on. And we're in a crisis. We are in a crisis. And whichever way you take it, the information that you have, if you have a little or a lot, it's not an easy time to stop. And even though you did take that time and you're here now, which is amazing, good, and we are going to do some awareness, a little bit of work, but really the most of what we're going to do tonight is just to become aware. And it's okay if you're not stopping or you don't want to think about it, because that's part of it. So let me ask you a question and you can share in the chat. Usually when someone goes through crisis, they go through fight, flight, and freeze. Again, we're not exactly in that situation, but we can talk about it. The people that are at war and they're fighting, they're very clearly in a situation of fight, and I would not tell them to stop and check in with their emotions. You know, they're on duty and they have one mission, and they have to be alert, and they can't stop, they can't calm down. And if you think about it, if they do have some time where they can just relax, take it easy, it could be very, very hard just to realize where they are, away from home, missing all the things that they're seeing, and the emotions come up. And that is the reason why when it's too hard, we try to keep ourselves busy, keep on running, keep on doing, because sometimes we can't stop. And that's okay. So if I would ask you, I don't think you're on, in the front over there fighting. And if you are, now that you're listening to this, just to see where you are you in that fight mode? You would love to be there, or maybe actually fighting. Maybe you are in the front lines, and just to be aware of that. Can't really stop, but you're aware that there's no time to stop. Then though this fight, flight, and freeze, fight, flight, and freeze, many people have a hard time just continuing regular routine. They are in shock, and they shut down. We could just shut down, stay in bed. I can't get out. I don't know. There's so much fear. Maybe there might be anger. Anger is a little bit more of energy emotion, but it's sad. You're just not in the mood. For some reason, everything is so slow, you can't continue. So you might be in that situation. Or there are those who want to get back to routine, and they just go back as if they try as much as possible as if nothing happened. Back to work, be distracted, send the kids back to school, which in a way is good. But just to become aware of what works for you, where you are now, where are you while we're in this crisis, while we're in this situation that we have a hard time figuring out. So that's the first step. And we are in a place where we're very vulnerable. And I think it's a time to connect to Hashem, for those who are very scared and they don't know what's going to be. And we don't. And sitting in this situation, sitting with these questions and not knowing, it's a vulnerable, very vulnerable moment. And it doesn't feel good. And that's what we talk about a lot. By stopping and sitting with yourself, seeing how you feel, these vulnerable feelings come up. And now it's really open. We're raw. These feelings can come up very fast, and it might not be a good idea to sit with it but to be aware. Many have questions. How could Hashem do this? Why? And I don't think, you might have to sit and tap into Emunah B'tachon, which might take time. Not everybody could do it right away. Just feeling with whatever feeling comes up. I don't like the feeling. This is a crazy situation. I don't like it. I want to get out of it. What can I do? And just understand that, yeah, we all feel that. It's okay to go get chizik. Because to stop is hard. So we're looking for answers. What could I do? Where could I get some chizik? But this is the idea that I want to discuss. And also it's going to be, how to talk to our kids when these things happen, how to talk to them, how to connect. So it's a time that maybe you might not be able to stop. It's too hard. So you're going to find something to do. And it doesn't have to be something big. It could be something small. Whether it's one kapitel Tillim, if that's what you can do, or something big, there are many people that are doing a lot. What's going on with the chesed, the amount of chesed that's going on. And people are donating. If you can do it, it's beautiful. But not everybody could do it on a big scale. What can I do on a small scale? Saying kapitel Tillim, davening a little bit, turning to Hashem for a few minutes. Again, we're looking for small things. You feel like I can do something. I need to do something. And it's good. It's good for us to be able to continue, and it's the right thing to do. Again, not always is the right thing to stop and see the feelings that come up. So we are in a vulnerable situation, a vulnerable feeling, which we don't like. That's number one. We want answers because we're human, and we're trying to figure out why, how, because it's very hard for us to sit in a space where it doesn't make sense. So you're going to try to hear from people information just so that it can make some sense. But at the end of the day, you might sit in a place where you don't have any answers. And if it works, yes, to turn to Hashem and say, listen, you're the one who runs the world. I don't understand. I don't have to understand. But please, help us, help Klal Yisrael, help the situation, a prayer, a tefillah, something. But it's that idea of sitting with that feeling, not running right away. But again, there's a balance. You have to know where you are. Some people can't sit with it. They have to run right away, run to the chizik, run to figuring things out, which is okay. Eventually, we'll slow down. We'll get back to it, see what happened. Looking back, hopefully, Mitzvah Hashem, we'll see Nissim. But you have to know where you are. For some, it's just sitting in a place where they just can't make sense out of it. Yes, they feel everything they're doing is so slow and they're sad. Those feelings, that's okay. Whatever feelings come up, that's okay. And that's the validating part. To validate your feelings, no matter what comes up. I spoke to many people and different feelings coming up this week. People tell me they feel guilty for doing nothing. Many are scared, worried, which makes sense, confused, shocked. If you can think of one feeling, put it in the chat, just to let me know what feeling comes up. What's that feeling that you have? Some people feel numb. Then there are those who feel guilty that they're numb. Then there are those who feel guilty that they're just regular back to work. But again, all of these feelings are valid. Whatever you feel, if you feel numb, you feel shocked, overwhelmed, worried, confused, or if you don't feel, you might feel numb. It's just to understand that whatever you're feeling, this is how your brain works, going through this. I told somebody, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Tell yourself you're okay. And they were saying, no, I'm not okay. So you're right. We're not okay. We're not okay. I'm trying to say, validate the feeling that comes up. If you can just see yourself all anxious, understand that it's normal. If you're confused, understand it's normal. Whatever your response is your response. And it doesn't have to be different. So that's important. And that's also important if your child comes to you and wants to talk to you about their concerns. So to tell them it's going to be fine, everything's going to work out, Hashem runs the world, miracles, which is amazing. But I believe we shouldn't go there right away. Again, you don't have to sit with the feelings for too long. But if your child shares that they're confused, that they're scared, that they're angry, that they're worried, so let's not push it away and say, don't worry, everything will be fine. The message they get is, this adult doesn't understand what I feel. What they need is to have the adults understand, be there with them. I'm so worried. You can stop for a moment to say, you can ask them, what are you worried about? It's like, what's going on? And who knows? And I don't know if they don't even want to say what they're thinking. They're so scared to say it. But to be able to listen to them and say, yeah, we're all worried. It is scary. So you're also scared. What are we gonna do? So we hope, we daven. But you heard that first part of understanding the child, listening to the child, and validating that feeling that they have, even if it's a crazy feeling. We have to validate our own feelings and validate the people around us to understand whatever they're going through, whatever they're feeling. And if it doesn't work with yours, it could be hard, but understand, not everybody feels the same way. And for you, your brain might tell you, okay, just get back to normal. Don't think about it too much. You're getting too anxious, so don't think about it. And then your child is anxious. And you want to tell your child, don't think about it. Don't think. That works for you. It doesn't work for your child. It might work for him or her, it might, but first understand, listen to them, understand they're anxious, and help them. They should feel that you understand them. But by telling them don't be anxious, they get that message that I guess being anxious is wrong, it's not valid, and they feel confused again because this is how I feel, and if it's not right, why do I feel this way? So to validate, and again, whatever feelings come up, talking about thoughts, those feelings, the thoughts, people have crazy thoughts. You can become aware of the thoughts. Just be aware your mind is racing. So many crazy ideas, so many, pictures, and just in your mind, even though it could be it's not true, it is true, I don't know, but you're sitting with it. So just become aware of that, your thoughts, and write them down, just to become aware. So it's important to have that little space, especially for your kids, that small space, not too long, but understand whatever they're feeling, valid. Whatever the feeling is valid. Somebody mentioned to me that they are sending back their son to yeshiva tomorrow, to Israel. And he told me, he doesn't, he knows what's going on, but, he asked his Rav, whatever it was, and they said that if he goes to yeshiva over there, it's safe, whatever it is. But his little daughter came over to him and said, where is he going? You're sending him there, it doesn't make sense. So now to connect to this little girl, to understand that for her it's frightening. And you're sending her brother, you're sending there, it makes just makes no sense. So if you just tell That little girl, it's fine, it's fine, it's safe. That's confusing. You got to talk about it. What do you mean safe? You have to talk about it and tell them you discussed it. First, you have to, mention to them that you're right. It is a worry. It's something to worry about, and we hope for the best. Okay, but you have to connect to that space of where they're worried, because if not, it's hard. Another interesting thing that I just heard today, which I think was fantastic. Sorry. Just a second. If you can all mute yourself, that would be a help. Thank you. Okay. So a kid mentioned that it's hard for them to tell anybody that they're scared. And even to their parents, they're embarrassed, whatever it is. So this person answered that, tell your mother, I'm embarrassed to tell you when I'm scared. Can I just come over to you? And when I'm scared, I'll give you a hug. And all you have to do is give me back a hug. And that's it. And I thought that was amazing. You don't have to talk, you don't have to say anything. The child knows when they're scared, they can go to their mother and give them a hug. And the mother knows exactly what that means. And the mother gives back a hug. And that's it. Did you change anything? No. Can we change, these are the thoughts, these are the ideas, worried, which makes sense. I hear you, I understand you, even without words. And that's amazing. And another thing is that for kids and even for adults, just coming here tonight is it's just amazing. Just sitting and trying to see what am I feeling? Every person, especially kids, every person needs one place where they can feel safe and discuss what they're feeling. It doesn't have to make sense. Whatever comes up, just to see, what do I feel? What am I worried about? What are my questions? What are my thoughts? It's important to have one place where you can have that. It could be a friend, it could be wherever it is. And if you don't have anybody, write it down. And that could help. To journal. Every day for a few minutes, just write down all whatever the thoughts come up. And so worried, anxious, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I don't know how I'm going to manage. Just write it down. I feel guilty, I feel that, I feel this. And that's about it. Just to find a place. And for you coming here tonight, just taking a few minutes to see, where am I? What can I do? Another important piece, what everybody is sharing, not to look on the media. The more you look, the more you'll be nervous. Now, again, we know already what's going on. There is war, and it's gefährlich. We know already, and we're davening. We don't have to look to say, I need to feel it. We feel it. So now, without looking, without reading, the more you read, the more you're into it, the more you're sitting with it, you won't be able to get up and continue doing what you need to do. You'll be stuck. And in a way, we have to continue. Staying in bed is not an option, even though for some people, it might take time just to get out. And if you need help, find somebody who can help you. It can be a therapist. Again, this is real, it could be real trauma. So get the help that you need. But to sit and read and watch and follow and see and more, basically, this is where your mind is. And if your mind is there, that's where you're going to feel. So get up, do something small. Say a kapitel Tehillim. It could be a donation. It could be if you're donating stuff, big companies, that it's unbelievable what's going on. And just to see, the positivity, the Ahavas Yisrael that's coming out of this, the amount of chesed. just united, all the Eden, no matter where they are in the whole world, getting together and support. I'm supporting. I'm a Yid, and we turn to Hashem, we daven, and this is a Havas Chinam. No matter where they are, no matter who they are, we're Eden and we're together talking about the tzitzis that they're giving out, the foods that they're sending, and even watching a wedding happening right out there in the front lines with the chayalim, which is crazy. Sitting over here at home can be worse than being there. You're sitting here and you're like, what's going on? But over there, they're doing what they need to do, and it looks like they have time to make weddings. I don't know exactly what that means, but soldiers, sometimes they find time to dance and to bring in that spirit. And if, we both need it, they need it, we need it to be able to continue. We need the chizik. Find that thing that works for you, that will help you to get up, even though it might be slow, just to do something, if it's small or big, whatever you could do. And that's how you connect. Turn to Hashem. Say, Hashem, I'm here. This is it. I don't know exactly what's going on. I do feel vulnerable. Vulnerable is that place where relationship happens. And the relationship with Hashem, again, everybody has their relationship with Hashem, whatever it is. But if you're in a vulnerable place, you feel like I can't do anything. There's no one to rely on. And talk about if people relied and how did this happen? There's no one to rely on, only on Hashem. So we might have to fix our relationship. And then those who ask me, I know Hashem runs the world, but sometimes he does things I don't like. So I don't know how to eat that. I don't know how to sit with it. So you might have to work on that relationship with Hashem, believing, connecting, and feeling secure. But till we get there, it's a process, like we always mention. You don't have to be there now. Now you might be on this journey. You might feel vulnerable. You might not like the way you feel. And that's okay. Doesn't mean you're okay. It doesn't mean the situation is okay. It means to say, this is where we are. And now let's see what we can do. And the same thing with your kids. Listen to where they are. Connect with what they're feeling for a few seconds. It's just that, wow. Like, why? You're right. And say, okay, so, what could we do? But going right away sometimes could be dismissing their feelings, dismissing what their thoughts are. Let them talk. Let them listen to what's going on. And with that, my bracha is, and my tefillah, Hashem should help us all. Help everybody. We all need help. Those in Israel, all those in pain. We're all in a vulnerable place, and Hashem, we're connecting to each other. We're connecting to you. And show us miracles and help us. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. Hopefully next week, Wednesday night, we'll be able to dance and sing. And I don't believe, for those who are in pain, it's not going to be so fast. It doesn't go so fast. It's a grief process. You need some time to grieve. It's painful. Not so fast, but Hashem, you can do anything. So help us all. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself wherever you are. Take care of the people around you, if you could. And amidst Hashem, I'll see you next week, Wednesday night, same time. And again, the recordings are available at menachembergel.com. Any questions, feedback are always welcome. You can send them to coachmenachem@gmail.com. Take care of yourself. Have a good night and a good week. And we should hear only good things.